So every person on the board of the directors is placed in two different committees. There's a work area, and then there's an administrative committee, and some people are placed on a task force in addition to. So as a board member, I serve on the administrative committee of education, leadership formation, which deals with all the seminars that we do, all the training we do here in this country and internationally, training people on social principles, helping them learn how to become a Christian advocate, how to use the social principles to be the voice of Christianity and Methodism within their nation. That's a pretty neat responsibility. And then my work area is called human welfare. And human welfare deals with civil rights issues, the death penalty is where we've gotten a lot of good work done. Immigration, we've been very active in all of the immigration laws and been devastated by them. We also deal with issues of sexuality, which is the hot topic work area, of course, within the church. All kinds of other human welfare issues, but not healthcare, actually. Healthcare is not an area that we deal with primarily. And then I serve on a task force for the Advancing Korean American Ministries. So I'm the vice chair of that task force because I serve from Florida, and Florida has a large population of Korean American members. So.
And how did you get involved in the board? You were elected?
I was elected to General Conference as a delegate from Florida. Yes, well, I was elected in 2007 to serve 2008, and then at jurisdictional conference, then if you're a general conference delegate, you are automatically a jurisdictional conference delegate. And at jurisdictional conference, the jurisdiction lays out nominations. They have a nominations committee that nominates representatives from the jurisdiction to all the different agencies. And so I was nominated from jurisdictional conference to serve on General Board of Church and Society. I would imagine because of my work at General Conference, I served on the Legislative Committee of Church and Society too, and then the subcommittee that dealt with sexuality. Well, she didn't specifically have the support of the United Methodist Church. Healthcare reform, healthcare to be provided to all human beings has the support of the United Methodist Church. And that's where some people see this, the United Methodist Church becoming political, when actually we're still trying to remain theological. If the Republican Party was bringing forth healthcare reform, we would be asking, say, can we be part of this because healthcare is important to us as United Methodists, as Christians. So Nancy Pelosi didn't have as much support as healthcare reform did. But we, as the board, we get in coalitions that share our values. So we are part of different coalitions of other faith organizations, usually, sometimes they're non-faith based, that share the same values that we have, the same initiatives that our social principles speak about and our Book of Discipline speak about. So what she's referring to there is she mentioned about 5 different organizations. She mentioned a Catholic one, a healthcare one, a Protestant one, and a couple others. And of course when a politician speaks, especially at a press conference, and they're speaking something that's written, it's been written for them, they've got speech writers. So on one scale you can always say a politician is going to say, okay, how can I show how broadly this is supported, pull a couple of names, because we are a part of a large coalition. She could have mentioned a lot of different faith organizations. But Nancy Pelosi also worships at a United Methodist Church in San Francisco. She's not a member, but she worships there very regularly when she's in town. So I would imagine that she also felt that as a worshiping United Methodist, she had that kind of support too. So I know a lot of people feel like when that was said, why is our church stepping into politics? But really, we weren't supporting Nancy Pelosi as much as we were supporting healthcare reform and finding healthcare for all people. Well, General Conference's voice is primarily done within the Book of Discipline. It's recreated every year, except for the Constitution, when we can propose constitutional amendments. So the Book of Discipline creates the General Board, all the general agencies, as well as the General Board of Church and Society. And the Book of Discipline tasks the General Board of Church and Society to be an advocate to the world, to society, on behalf of our social principles and our Book of Resolutions, primarily. It's interpreted that because of the acts of the General Church, the General Conference, then we have our marching orders for the next quadrennium as a board, as an agency. And so legislation then speaks to what we can do. So if General Conference this next quadrennium says we actually are for the death penalty, which currently we say we're not. So we work to advocate to abolish the death penalty, and we have our theologically reasoning, and we coalition with people to do that. If we reverse that this quadrennium, our staff people who have spent the last 12 years trying to rid that, they would have to turn back around and do the opposite of what they did, because they're governed by the General Church, by the Book of Discipline. So we are guided by those, the Book of Resolutions and the Book of Discipline alone. So that's how we can say that, because we're guided by that. We're guided by the Book of Resolutions and the social principles.